Recording. Hello everyone, welcome to the Jenkins Infrastructure Weekly Team Meeting. We are the 16th September 2025, and around the virtual table we have myself, Damien Duportal, Stéphane Merle, Jeredy, and Mark White. Welcome everyone. Let's get started with announcement. Last week, the weekly release 2.527 was released with a minor issue during the packaging phase. Due to metadata not being updated in Artifactory, our packaging steps thought it had to repackage 2.526, the previous version. So that's not the first time it happened. That was the third time in this year. So Stefan and I worked on applying a fix that came from the security team. That's a curl command that we added at the end of the release process once the artifact has been uploaded. That forced the recalculation of the version, so that should fix the metadata file. Daniel confirmed that this is what they do on the security advisory, and it works every time. So surprise tomorrow, but Daniel is aware of this thing. Stefan and I, we discovered, so maybe it was a well-known thing, but in fact, we don't use the perform release step of Maven. We only use the perform staging. So we have the release prepare stage that prepare all the artifact, build and run test, and then that's I think it's release. The target is staging. Use the staging concept in the release plugin of Maven. We never do the last mile. I'm not sure if it's expected, if it's a leftover of the work that Olivier started years ago to provide staging to the security team, and that should be the default. But that would explain why we have this weird behavior, because somehow the metadata file shouldn't be updated completely. There are two markups in the XML, and the XML of the Maven metadata has one which is always updated without error, and the latest one should be only updated during the release perform, not during the release staging. That's our guess.
Interesting.
Additionally, if you've seen the ticket opened by Daniel related to staging, it looks like we have a weird behavior that somehow works, but we're not really sure why. So we have to be careful on the release process in the future. That's not a blocker that has worked for many months, even years. But just to know, let's not assume that Maven perform its releases as expected in the book, because we do weird thing with this one. So tomorrow will be release weekly 2.528. Why tomorrow and not today? Because security advisory. So we'll have to be careful on that specific part.
But we do have people available to assist with that tomorrow if there's any surprise or bump, any disruption. Great.
I'm available by default. I asked to start earlier. I think Stefan, you have the kiddos this week, right?
Yes,
so, okay.
Like all the time they do security release.
Because they do it every
the morning.
Well,
so if they start early.
Okay. I'm available after and towards end of your working day, Damien. So if we have to hand off, I'm certainly not the same level of skill/ability as you, but I'm happy to help once I wake up.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Mark. We are expected to start early because the other responsible are Jeremy Playout and Hervé Lemer. They are in the same time zone as me and Stefan. So in any case, we should be okay on the open source part, even if something fails most of the time. The only thing, Stefan, may I ask you and assign you one task to help me tomorrow? May I ask you
of course,
to open the status Jenkins IO thing?
Oh.
Because we forgot that I forgot during the two last advisories. And yeah.
So I can help as well if Stefan isn't available.
No, that's okay. I can handle that kind of small thing.
So proposal, Stefan, you open and Jay review.
Yeah, thank you, Jay.
Is that okay for you, folks?
Yeah.
I'm distributing roles right now, but please feel free to say no if you.
Perfect.
Cool. Stefan and Jay takes care of status.jenkins.io. Damien,
because it will be intentionally down after while the advisory is being published, because this is a change to core, right? This is a core security release, and therefore it has to be down. Now, I assume likewise weekly will be down. And those are our two public-facing CI servers, right? Okay.
weekly is not down, is not at least not part of the advisory. We
Oh, it's
accept the
not.
risk because it
Okay.
doesn't have any agent or executors.
Right. Okay.
And in the future, weekly should move out of the Kubernetes cluster to its own virtual machine on DigitalOcean. That's the plan.
Okay.
More on this later, specifically with the CI Jenkins IO issue, but that's the plan.
Great. So good for my education to know that weekly is not actually taken down as part of this and doesn't have to be.
Exactly.
Thank you.
At least it's a risk we accept. Maybe
Right.
it's a false assumption I'm making, but as far as I can tell, it's a risk we can accept.
I like that. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Weekly.ci will have to be updated, but no need to put it offline. No risk. So that's all for the next weekly. Any question? Okay, so on the announcement, just a note for everyone, due to human changes in progress, we might be slowed down. So we are going to focus on the most important thing, try to write down everything. And in 1 month, we should have better visibility until end of year. On the infra roadmap, no changes. So Kevin and team did review and merge the pull request I made 2 weeks ago. So the roadmap points on our top level priorities, which are for the 2 upcoming weeks. Migration of usage Jenkins IO and PKG origin, so 2 virtual machines on the AWS cloud-based accounts to everywhere else. So Stefan work on usage. The goal is to unblock the statistics that Andrew used to do. And we kill 2 birds with 1 stone by also migrating away. In any case, we have to do this. PKG, that's work in progress. I've paused the work, but that's still a priority. Right now, I'm working on the Azure depreciation. End of September, some network setting will be depreciated, so we have to clean up our stuff, mainly public cluster and trusted VPN and third CI virtual machines. We have done half of the work here, half of the work is still to come. Any question on the priority and roadmap?
No.
Okay, any other announcement? Yep. Okay, so the calendar, that will be quick. Next weekly and next LTS will happen tomorrow. That will be 2.5.28 and 2.5.16.3. They will be part of the security advisory that's scoped to the Jenkins core, meaning in the upcoming 48 hours, we will upgrade all of our controllers. Oh, I forgot to update the credential expiration. We have a few
Yeah, I
in
saw a
3
few.
weeks. I will update the meetings next week because we won't have time to treat them until next Tuesday, and all of them are in October. Anything else on the calendar? September. Let's write things that are true, and that shows that we have no emergency. Okay, so now we are. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I think I updated the wrong one. Okay, we are at 3.6K in consumption in Azure CDF. And the forecasts, oh, I updated the wrong one. The forecast is at 6.4. So clearly we are consuming way more. That's the same forecast and the same consumption as what we had in August. And in August, we ended up at 5.9 with support. Looks like the forecast is a bit pessimistic. That's the forecast from Azure. It's not a linear forecast.
Okay, but 3.6K and it's the 16th of the month. seems like we could be at 6.4.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Because the 3.6 is actual expenses, right?
Yep.
Not the forecast is just an estimate, but the 3.6 is actual expenses to date.
Exactly. So we still have to continue. Some of the network things we still have to do will help.
Okay.
The problem is the new cluster. The new cluster will have to be created next to one, and we'll have a migration period of a few days by moving
Right.
services, so that will increase the cost. But the new cluster will cost less because
Okay.
one of the choice I'm proposing is stop following blindly all the recommendation from Azure. Right now, they recommend for production cluster to have a node pool for only the technical services provided by Azure. So the pods that manage mounting the Azure file shared system, the DNS server, the load balancer controllers, and that kind of technical services that are required in Kubernetes. And until now, we had these two different node pools, one for our application with 3 machines today, and one with 3 machines for Azure for following Azure recommendation. And we had a toleration system that say, hey, if you are a system critical, you run on the first one. If your application, you run on the second one. So we have 6 machines. With the new cluster, everything will be shared like we used to do in the past. Because worst case, we will end up with only 4 machines instead of 6. That's still cheaper. We don't have any reason now to have this because we don't run a cluster. The size of the cluster is not following the recommendation. Yet another example on why AI without context is dangerous, because the copilot system recommends that. All the recommendations come from the AI system, but it doesn't take in account the fact that when we only run 3 machines.
Right.
The cost of this additional machine is 400 to 600 per month. That's a lot of bucks. So we expect gain on that area.
Great. Well,
And
so it's okay that if even if September reached almost 7K, we have stayed under budget all year. So long as we bring it back in October and November, we should still achieve our annual budget goal, right?
exactly.
Okay, good. Okay, so because the Kubernetes transition we have to do, there's no choice for us on the Kubernetes transition. They are ending support for the earlier Kubernetes, the 1.31, right?
Oh, it's not about the Kubernetes upgrade. It's
Oh, it's
about
not.
the setup of the network.
Okay. Got it.
And the changes we have to do. We have
Mhm.
we have some that are mandatory and some that maybe could be interesting to do at the same time. But all of these settings has the consequence of when changed, destroy and recreate the cluster automatically.
Okay. Got
So
it.
that's why
Thank
we
you.
need to create a brand new with a cleanup setup from all the other. Once for all, we do the migration and we are okay. And at the same time, we upgrade Kubernetes because we start from a brand new state. So let's get started on this one.
Thank you.
Four birds with one stone this time.
Thank you.
Does it clarify?
It does.
Cool. Digital Ocean budget, nothing to say. Slight increase compared to other months is due to the VM that Jay uses for learning things and building things.
And the new usage one.
Oh, true that. True that we have created it. Thanks, Stefan. Good point. AWS Cloud Base is under the usual budget, so that's stable, nothing specific. And AWS sponsored account, we saw a decrease on CI Jenkins IO, so that's good news. The threshold is 6.0K, so we see that we were able to stop the EC2 over provisioning. We still have many issues related to agent allocation, but at least the cost is under control, so we can run CI Jenkins on this account until August next year with the current schedule.
Very
So
good.
we are good. On JFrog, oh no, I forgot. I didn't update. So we saw a slight increase. We are at 11 terabyte. I'm doing it from memory. I think I messed up the note from last week. I will just merge them.
So we're at 11 terabytes as of today.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So we're forecast at 20 terabytes, which is significantly better than the 30 or 40 terabytes we were at several months ago. Okay.
Yep. We still have a decrease. However, the storage keeps increasing every week, mostly the access logs. So
Right.
we will have to see what we can do about that in the future. Darren pointed 2 weeks ago that we might be scrapped by whatever system. So again,
So
the
and you say scrapped, and I think you mean scraped, right? So
scraped. What scrapped? What does the meaning of scrap?
scrapped means thrown to the trash or put in the junk, put in the bin.
Oh no, no, scrape. Okay,
Scraped means harvesting the data from our service, right? And I think you mean data harvesting,
exactly.
not data destruction. Great, thank
So
you.
yep. Is it 1 or 2p with scrape?
Scraped is 1, scrapped is 2.
Okay, so my
Sorry
writing
for
was the good one on previous
Right.
week.
You wrote it perfectly for how you pronounced it. And that was
Okay.
exactly how you pronounced it. Yeah. Sorry. Excuse my fixation on English pronunciation rules. That's terribly unfair, but
No problem. Thanks for the explanation. So yes, we are under the budget for JFrog, and there are no immediate action on the infra team to operate on this for now. I don't see any action we could take to continue decreasing
right.
here. So
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, I've still got things to deal with on that, but those are based on Darren's reports and begging overusers to stop overusing. So, yep.
So that's all for the budget. Are there any other questions, pointers? Okay, so let's go on the issue part. We had a few support issue that has been fixed. Thanks, Stefan, for the CSP plugin installation and setup everywhere. Finished, used by Daniel. He already improved things and had a interesting discussion with Tim Yacom on that part. So really useful, thanks. The rest was related to accounts. That's been a long time we didn't have any problem with the accounts. That was we had a deletion and someone trying to create multiple accounts from the same web browser session. I think it's still worth keeping that spam system because yeah. And Jenkins CI things taken by team. And keeping the platform in a sane state and maintainable. Thanks, Stefan. That's one of the things that helps not consuming too much by disabling spot agent for ATH. Because yet now, since 15 August, the spot cost changed in AWS in our region. And now the instances size we use cost only twice less in spot mode. And due to the EC2 over provisioning and the capacity issues in that region, we were retrying 5 to 6 times. So it doesn't mean we were retrying for 1 hour 6 times or 6 hours, but still the cost had an impact that's negated totally the gain in spots. The good idea that Stefan applied here is that only focusing on ATH and the impact can also be seen on the Docker builds on CI Jenkins IO. Both of these projects are using high memory instances. Hoping it also helps decreasing the capacity problem, even if this one is still present on some moment on the day. I haven't heard back anything about AWS, but on Azure, the unavailability of on-demand and spot instances comes from high usage of LLM system being used. So there is a priority. If it's used for scrapping data, it has a priority over web services. Yes, that's the state of the art of the cloud nowadays.
They know where their money is made. They know
Yes.
where and I should stop complaining
Who's
because they
paying?
have to make exactly follow the money. Okay,
Yep.
got it.
So that will be interesting, depending on the financial situation, to see with the Linux Foundation if we can reserve some instances, because in Azure at least we can reserve for 1 year. So that one could be interesting. The cost, I don't know if the cost will be interesting or not, but at least the capacity will be secured.
Right. Okay.
But it cannot be more expensive. It's just we have to pay once.
That makes sense. And we've shown a consistent pattern of staying under budget, a consistent pattern of making good recommendations to them in terms of budget needs.
Exactly. So that's a discussion we can start in October.
Great.
Finally, thanks Stefan for the help on the VPN. I felt so much better doing that at two operators. So, sorry. So we have changed the type of public IP of the VPN. So the VPN changed its IP effectively. And of course, yes, the automatically generated documentation says, oh, everything should work. You know what I mean by automating automated generation. There is a Copilot logo somewhere. And of course it did not. So it was failing. At least it didn't break the VPN, but we had to operate the service to remove the old IP manually once and then let the Terraform apply everything again.
Yeah, and don't forget that without the VPN, we don't have access to the UI of Infra CI.
And who's the dumb Damien du Portal who tried to kick a build because I still had the JavaScript loaded on my web browser and I tried to click it, but yet it didn't work. So we had to apply things manually. But despite that mistake, we were able to apply manually and everything went well. So now we can work on the next depreciation stuff that will be the same for trusted and certs. We need to make explicit the outbound method. For trusted and cert, that will be invisible for users. For the VPN, we might have impacts because the VPN has a specific configuration right now in order to route to every networks. So changing the default outbound might break some connection, but just a few. That's a tedious one. Most of our setup is clean, but maybe we will have some old setup that we forgot about that might be broken suddenly. One that I see because Microsoft started to do so brownout. Today I cannot join the admin account keycloak. So that's VPN that goes to public gates cluster using the internal private ingress. So I cannot add Ervelmer to LDAP group through the web UI. I have techniques in order to bypass. We can use a kubectl port forward directly to keycloak. However, yeah, it looks like we have to operate on that part. That will be fixed in any case before end of month with the new cluster. That's all for the work that we were able to finish. Now, work in progress. Stefan, you had some usage Jenkins IO work. What's the status?
The VM exists and is provided with a small disk. I am currently working on the Puppet profile that is based on the old one, and will add a few services on the new machine to be able to also do the statistical process. And right now I'm dealing with vagrants that need a bit of work to be able to beta test everything on local. I will also have to work on the Terraform to make sure that I can increase the size of the disk and to write down the process, because that will be something we will have to do from time to time on that machine.
And
Do you see something else?
No, that's clear. Any questions? Need for clarifications? Hello, hello. Oh,
No, no questions or need for clarification from me.
sorry. Okay, thanks. Sorry, everyone was frozen, so that's why I was repeating, but you're back. Cool. Thanks, Stefan. No blockers immediately.
Except the background stuff, but I just started.
Yep, I saw your message. So maybe a quick sync and we are okay. Cool. On the new public cluster, on the new public gates. So I was a bit optimistic. I thought I would have been able to create it, but focus on IPv6 NAT gateway in Azure and same in AWS do not support IPv6.
Oh,
So it looks like there are changes being applied on Azure, and I'm sure end of October, that's usually when they do it, they will announce some network setup change on Kubernetes, on their IKS. But right now, the only things we can do to have outbound IPv6 connectivity, which is needed, if you have inbound requests, they need to be outbound.
have to go.
We need a load balancer. So I'm working to see, we know we can use both a load balancer and a NAT gateway. That's the current setup we have today. A load balancer is used by default and falls back to the NAT gateway in case of problem. The goal here will be to split traffic and use the load balancer with only IPv6 outbound requests while using the user NAT gateway for IPv4. For the rest, everything on the cluster looked good with the new setup that include using CNI network instead of the whole KubeNet. We had this specific setup with KubeNet due to IPv6, but now IPv6 Azure changed their recommendation last year, so we can go back to the same setup as the other clusters. We are moving to a single node pool, as I explained earlier. So we will move into 3 to 4 machines instead of twice 3 machines. So we will mix the workloads. Azure Linux instead of Ubuntu. So that's easier to scale up. We have faster machines. That has way better performances and less, let's say, attack vectors. It's automatically updated on the go. So many advantages to run the cloud provider Azure Linux. And one last thing, private cluster. So we will only require VPN connected for end users to be able to reach the Kubernetes controller instead of a public IP list, which is a pain. So the admin public list will only be used for VPN SSH access. So only if someone needs to SSH to the VPN.
Okay.
That's the status. So right now I need to create a new cluster and then we will start migrating things. That will have an impact. I haven't found any solution except then telling the users that we will change the public IPs, especially for companies that have allowed the IP of the update center. Updates Jenkins.io, mirrors Jenkins.io, Javadoc Jenkins.io will have a change of public IP. That's one IP that will change. Two if they use for the IPv6. So worth a blog post. We already did that in the past, so we let the user know. So if they see a blocker, when they wake up in the morning, they will search and they will see the blog post published. The LDAP will change its public IP, but no one cares because we use DNS and we are the only users.
Okay, so that one's particularly important. The LDAP knows the destinations it communicates with, but the destinations use DNS to resolve the IP address of their server.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
We don't have any external service that need to reach the LDAP, but that just fix the IP.
Okay.
As far as I can tell. I might be wrong, but that might be edge cases.
Okay.
And the second one started to work. Same kind of network change, the outbound techniques for these virtual machines. So we can start as the VPN has a supported public IP now. So we can start work on this one. Quick note, while we are there, I haven't had time to open an issue. But as discussed with the Jenkins security team, now that our VPN, we are able to find control which user has access to which network or services. That's something brand new that since July. That means we theoretically can get rid of the SSH jump host for trusted. So one less virtual machine to run, set up, and manage. And instead, we can control at the VPN level. Confirm, that's what Daniel proposed given the risk analysis. That's something we had in mind, and I wanted to ask him after the security release. He already did the thought process and shared it with us. So that will be the next step for us. That means decreasing the cost in Azure. I will
And
open
that's
an
not a
issue.
cheap one because that's a VM with two NIC handle.
The Bastion? No,
Yeah.
not the jump host.
You think?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
It's a teeny one. But it's
I
still.
thought that was a medium one with two NIC handle. Sorry.
So PKG was on hold until security advisory is finished. Next step, packaging in the release.ci agent. Persistent volume instead of remotely on this VM. Ubuntu. That's a jump of Ubuntu 18 to Ubuntu 24. That will be a fun one. It's on hold and we will resume work once the other are done. They are in the right order. Any question on this one? Cool. So now we have a lot of on hold. Stats on hold until usage.jenkins.io on Digital Ocean is ready. Is that okay? Any question? Any? The web service on hold until public gates is recreated with modern setup. Artifactory CI Jenkins IO on hold until Docker controller job is adapted. Then we'll re-evaluate consumption. I wasn't sure, Mark. We need further data for Infra CI. Should we close the issue or mark it as on hold until we have new data?
Let's mark it as on hold for, well, I'm okay with either. If you feel that you want to close it, right now, my efforts on Artifactory bandwidth reduction have been delayed, and so it's okay if you close it. It's okay if we leave it on hold. We're certainly not going to spend energy on it right now.
Okay. Closeable. Then I don't mind keeping the other on hold unless we have new data showing high consumption on this one. Is that okay?
Yeah, actually, and I'd phrase it even differently, unless we're ready to take action on the data, because I think I've got data that shows some consumption, but I'm
but
not persuaded we have capacity to do anything with it right now.
depends, but the data here was incomplete and not showing that it was a high consumer.
Ah, okay, good. All right.
I think it's a result of when we split the initial issue into sub-issues. That's why. So that's why I'm phrasing like this, because we don't have data that says we should do anything.
Okay, great. Then let's close it.
Tombstone Puppet on hold, most probably until mid-October, because we won't have time to spend on this. Eventually, Stefan proposed last week to start Ansible on Packer image, but yeah, we have too much thing to do for now, so that's why. That one to resume work on the upcoming milestone was on hold. So yes, this one I need to work back on the LDAP. GC on hold until new public gates cluster is there.
All right.
Because it's blocking the work, because the goal is to have a cluster that has one way to be connected to in order to stop service, clean up things, and restart. We have GeoIP data, this one, and a third one. So that's on hold for now. That's what I call the cron job project.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, monitor build on hold. Jay is taking a technical training.
Right.
So that means
Yeah, and also we need to find a new solution apart from synthetics to
good point.
figure out a way for timestamp staleness.
We need to find another solution for time check in the monitor. Synthetic monitor. Thanks. Good reminder. On the key platform up to date, so Stefan is working on the Windows 2025 agent.
Yeah, this one switch to improve the pipeline and migrate to scripted pipeline to avoid a memory
alone,
problem.
but requires pipeline to switch to scripted syntax. Memory issue. I don't remember that example when the matrix on declarative it's too much branches, while it work when you do it with scripted. I mean, the BOM shows that scripted syntax can create thousands
Huge.
of branches, so let's go that direction. Finally, on the support area, so the failure to stage Jenkins weekly security fix looks like it's not really an infrastructure issue per se.
Okay.
Daniel is on it. Will post-mortem after the advisory. There are changes that we might have to apply though next week if Daniel find the right elements, but right now it's work in progress. Is more using it as a work log like I do on other issues. We have requests by Hervé Lemeur to get access to two elements. The first one is release CI Jenkins IO. So he has VPN access, he need to confirm. And then we still have to add him in the permission and release CI to be developer so he can trigger or see the job as far as I can tell, because he's the release lead tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yep.
actually, and he doesn't have to be able to trigger anything tomorrow because the security team handles it.
Oh, good point.
Right. So that is not, I don't disagree with his being granted release CI Jenkins IO access. He should. We want him to be a release lead. He is a release lead, but for this specific release, that is not a requirement.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is not one that we must do within the next day or two. It's that for his ability to act as a release lead in the future, it's really good for him to have access to release.ci.jenkins.io.
Is he going to further work on release CI?
Well, if he's a release lead again, so he'll be a release lead for this one. If he takes another release in the future, he'll need to launch it from release.ci.jenkins.io. So that makes sense that he should have access.
Okay. Another thing I'm uncomfortable with, not specific to Hervé, but I realize that right now, if you have network access, not permission access, but network access, if you can see release CI login page, that means you can also see Infra CI release page.
Oh, interesting.
I don't remember the setup by memory we have on the private cluster. If we continue splitting and remove the private cluster in favor of two virtual machines, that will be easy. I don't remember if we put the controller on distinct subnet. I remember we use different subnets for agents and controllers in the cluster. Oh, okay, everyone was frozen again, sorry. So maybe we can do something on the VPN part.
So your concern there is we don't want those who have that everyone who has access to release.ci should also have access to infra.ci.
Exactly.
Okay.
or the other way around.
Even though we have very different permission sets on the two controllers, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's you don't even want network level access to infra.ci unless you are authorized to do work with infra CI. Okay.
That's the idea. So it's just a note, nothing specifically related to Hervé. It's just by doing that
Right.
for Hervé, I realized that.
Right. Okay.
Waiting for Hervé on that part, the mechanism. We did the infra label part, and now he should be maybe already did. I don't know. I haven't seen a status update on the issue. But yes, he should work on the retry part for Jenkins core. Retry on Jenkins core. That's all. So let's get started with the pages too slow to respond on CI Jenkins IO. Daniel Beck made an interesting point about the maybe enabling logging on CI Jenkins IO could be interesting. The idea in that case, the proposal we discussed last week is that weekly CI could take over to be the show off area. If weekly CI has a few builds that shows data, test data, then that means we can separate concern. CI Jenkins IO is for CI, and it requires authentication to see the pages. And weekly CI doesn't require authentication and shows solemn element. If weekly CI is slow, or if someone scraped weekly, then that's okay. That doesn't break
Right.
any usage. So that's an interesting point by Daniel, and the weekly CI could be a way to remove the concern from team. I still need to comment here. Stefan or I will need to wait to propose that solution, but I think that's a good idea. I believe that's the original idea is from you, Stefan.
Yes.
So that's the status, nothing else on this one. We haven't...
So
Yep.
pulling back, even if we, I mean, I think Daniel's proposal was interesting and might be worth implementing, even if weekly.ci is not our demonstrator yet. Just for me, I think Daniel, the more I thought about Daniel's comment, ci.jenkins.io is intended to serve Jenkins developers. And Jenkins developers, in order to become a plugin maintainer, must log in to Jenkins Jira, which means they've got an account. So okay, it's not as convenient to make them log in, but the reality is making them log in is not huge, and it probably improves their experience dramatically because these scrapers then can't get to it.
The main problem will be the stress to LDAP if we...
Oh, no, it's the LDAP. Trust me, we can stress it. Trust me.
Okay.
The problem is more accounts.
Oh,
the
that's the one I was
application,
thinking
because
of.
we'll have more people who want an account. But as Daniel said, if you access CI, you have an account because you should be a maintainer.
Right. And if we, I don't know that it will be any worse if the scrapers decide that they need to go create an account on Jenkins, ci.jenkins.io, and use the account, or on accounts.jenkins.io and use that account. That's a level of attack that I'm not sure I'm worried about, right? It's a valid attack, but I'm not as concerned about that one. That's a level of effort that the scrapers probably aren't going to apply yet.
Oh, you can use Cloud Code for automating such things or generating an app that will do such thing. Yes.
Yeah. And they can even say, I'm not a robot.
But if in any case that's a bit more complicated, or at least require a bit more effort than public access, even if
it's one step.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. So that's why it makes sense for me, and it's less painful than maintaining an allow list, because we know how this kind of things end.
And do you see the process with a brownout, or directly and go boom? Everybody needs to log in.
We can first let's discuss, and then we can just apply once we have communicated about that.
That one, I don't think a brownout will help us at all, right? We just make the change, blog it and make the change, and then say, announce it to Jenkins developer mailing list, certainly.
Yes, that's the important part, because these are the person who benefit from CI.
That's the discussion.
Yep.
Yeah, and there I'm not even sure it's a discussion. It's a we announce it and say we plan to make this change. If you think this is a disaster, please explain to us why.
Mm.
And what solution is better?
Right,
Yep. Give
your
us an
alternative.
alternative solution.
Right,
Because just saying
exactly.
it's bad, it's okay, yeah, but
Right.
locking
It's
down CI is not good neither.
People will complain. That's okay.
Yeah, that's
right.
But here the
you
burnout is not
you mean
required.
French people, not only French people.
No, not
People.
only French. But in any case, in any case, I mean, we don't have users that have automated things directly to CI. If there are valid usages, they can just create a token once. That's a
Right.
one-time operation and add the token on their system.
Absolutely.
So, yep.
And for me, it's way better than locking out full range of public IP and VPN and stuff. It's I mean that's the way to do. They want to
Yep.
work on CI on Jenkins. They want to access and to use CI. They just log in. That's fine.
Yep. So, yep, let's go on discussion and then act on this one. That's not a lot of cost. About the pipeline stuck in RPU, which is the same thing as the issue you opened, Mark.
Oh,
If you see no problem, I will most probably close your freshly opened issue in favor of this one.
please do it. I did not provide enough detail and did not do enough investigation. So if you've got something else that has a little more detail, close mine or delete it. No problem.
So the problem is still the same. We have capacity issues, and now we'll have to live with that kind of wait time until we're able to rework the multi-availability zone or change the region.
Okay.
On the GSOC org admin, no feedback from element support.
Okay.
To ping them again. I don't see other actions here.
Nope.
So now on the triage area, a few issues. So the admin request to CI Jenkins IO for Hervé Lemur. The request explain why, because he asked if he can replay jobs to help himself on the Docker pipeline thing, and also to help on support for other users or plugin maintainers. So what are your thoughts while we're at this one? I don't object on this one.
I'm yes. I'm a strong yes on this one because I think it will. One more person that we trust to help us with ci.jenkins.io is a great thing.
As far as I can tell, it checked that admin is needed in order to replay pipeline. Otherwise, it will be stuck on the permission issue, even with a replay.
Yeah. I think we're using a relatively simple permissions model on ci.jenkins.io, and I don't want to change that. So I think granting him admin is simple and easy, and
Yep.
it gives him what he needs, and we get what we need.
And just it shouldn't update the plugins or the configuration unless we have a
Right.
request and etc. Otherwise, it loses this access.
Well,
That's
and
the only
that's the
constraint.
same exact problem we had with Mark Waite, right? There have been times in the past where we had to teach me, don't update plugins, please, Mark, because other people will take care of that.
Which somehow will be solved by moving to a Docker image, but
Right,
that's
right.
with built-in
We
plugin.
have an envisioned solution for that. We
Yep,
really do.
and that's something that Stefan and I have discussed, and we know the way, especially Stefan is aware of the Docker image since he maintains the other on the private controllers, so that should be the next
Right.
steps.
I have to drop off. Thanks
Yep.
very much.
We finished the triage in any case. So thanks, Mark. The rest is going to the backlog. So anything else to add, folks?
Nope.
Have a good week.
Yep. Let me clean up the notes. I'm gonna update the milestones. So good night for you, Jay. Take care. And I'm stopping screen share, stopping recording. So for people watching us, see you.